So what is up, guys? Suda the Savage back, and today we're here with NFL Week, Mark Ingram, DK Metcalf, Chris Godwin, and Dan Fouts. It is Week 4 team predictions. If you're looking to watch a certain matchup, timestamps are in the description box below. Last week I actually did a pretty good job, had a good rebound, went 10-4, looking to do better. Now this is going to be the last week where we're going to have teams on their bye, because coming next week, we're coming back to 16 matches to get to, but this week, 14 matches to get to. So without further ado, let's get this video started. We're starting off with our Thursday Night Football matchup, a rematch of Super Bowl IX between the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Minnesota Vikings. Starting off with the Steelers, a pretty good upset victory over the Baltimore Ravens last week. Ben Roethlisberger threw for 236 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks. Pretty solid week for him, even though he did say that this is going to be his last year with the Steelers. Lead rush was Najee Harris, 21 carries for 71 yards, but the main man was Deontay Johnson, 8 receptions, 105 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Followed by Chase Claypool, 2 receptions, 52 yards, and Najee Harris, 5 receptions, 36 yards. That was pretty much it. The defense was able to silence Lamar Jackson and were able to stop them on the 2-point conversion as the Ravens went for the kill at the end, but it failed. And then the Vikings. Season's over. You lost to the Lions. Nothing else I can say about that. But Kirk Cousins, he was pretty solid. Threw for 340 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks. Lead rush was Alex Mattinson with 90 yards and a touchdown. Kind of expected him to do well without Dalvin Cook in the picture. Justin Jefferson, though, just gritted all over that defense. 11 receptions, 182 yards, and a touchdown. Followed by Tyler Conklin, 7 receptions, 56 yards. And then finally, KJ Osborne, 4 receptions, 47 yards, and a touchdown. The defense was was not really that good against the Detroit Lions. Just collapsed them at the end. So, yeah. Vikings are 3-point favorites to win this one. And I'm going to say that they rebound here, that they win and cover the spread. And now you have our very first Sunday matchup between the Baltimore Ravens and the Cleveland Browns, classic AFC North rivalry. Starting off, sorry, I'm a little sick here. Starting off with the Ravens. Last week you lost the Pittsburgh Steelers 20-19. Lamar Jackson threw for 253 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. The rush game couldn't really get anything going. Yeah, Jackson was the lead rush with 55 yards, and Devontae Freeman had 52 yards and a touchdown, but man, the O-line just sold on Lamar. He got sacked 7 times. Like, the Steelers figured him out, so a lot of props to them. In terms of receiving, Hollywood Brown was the lead receiver, 5 receptions, 55 yards, followed by Mark Andrews, 4 receptions, 50 yards. The only person to have a receiving touchdown was Sammy Watkins, and that touchdown is what led to the failed 2-point conversion. You know, I don't hate the decision because your whole entire secondary is gone now that Marlon Humphrey's out with a torn pec, but, like, why was nobody covering T.J. Watt? Someone had him covered, Lamar could have just had an easier throw. How do you eat? I don't know. It was a good play call, but just they failed to execute it. And then the Browns, you were on your bye last week, but you lost the Ravens 16-10. Baker Mayfield, 247 yards, 1 touchdown, no pick. He was not good. But you guys did not abuse the rush game enough. Like, Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb only combined for 36 yards. So when those two are rushing for that much, it's going to be pretty easy to beat Cleveland. Lead receiver, Juice Landry, 6 receptions, 111 yards. Followed by Harrison Bryant, 3 receptions, 50 yards. Finished off David Njoku, 3 receptions, 35 yards, and a touchdown. That was pretty much it. Yeah, the defense did pick off Lamar Jackson 4 times, but, like, both teams sucked in that game, but the Browns just sucked more, so that's why they lost. Somehow the Browns are 2.5-point favorites to win this one, but nah. Lamar, he owns the Browns. Give me the Ravens the upset. Now you have our very next matchup, a classic NFC East rivalry between the Dallas Cowboys and the Washington football team. Start off with the Cowboys, 27-17 victory over the New Orleans Saints. Might sound good, but there were a few flaws with your game. Dak Prescott threw for 238 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. Lead rush was Tony Pollard with 71 yards and a touchdown, followed by Ezekiel Elliott with 45 yards. Lead receiver was CeeDee Lamb, 7 receptions, 89 yards, followed by Dalton Schultz, 5 receptions, 43 yards, and then Amari Cooper, 2 receptions, 41 yards. Then Gallup, 5 receptions, 36 yards, and 1 hell of a touchdown. So I got to give him props to that. The defense did a decent job against the Saints, but at the same time, it's the Saints. Our offense is injured to hell and back. And honestly, you kept us in that game for way too long. You should have finished us off way sooner than you did. But, 4 picks off Taysom Hill is going to get you some points. So, yeah, you still pull out the win. And then the Washington football team with a crucial 17-15 victory over the Las Vegas Raiders. Taylor Heineke threw for 196 yards, 2 touchdowns and a pick. He was okay. Lead rush was Antonio Gibson with 88 yards. Lead receiver was Logan Thomas, 3 receptions, 48 yards and a touchdown, but he is now out for the season, so that is definitely a huge loss because when he was back, like him and Taylor Heineke had a pretty solid connection. It was good to see. Then Bates, 3 receptions, 42 yards. Adam Humphries, 4 receptions, 38 yards. Finished out off Antonio Gibson, 5 receptions, 23 yards, and a touchdown. The defense, held down the Raiders as much as possible and made some key stops on the final drive. So good job out to the Washington football team for, disappointing everyone, but then coming back strong. So a lot of props for that, just like last season. Cowboys are 4-point favorites to win this one. And yeah, I'm just going to take the Cowboys here that they win and cover the spread. And now you have our very next matchup, a classic AFC West rivalry between the Las Vegas Raiders and the Kansas City Chiefs. Starting off with the Raiders, tough loss to the Washington football team. Derek Carr threw for 249 yards, no touchdowns, no picks. Lead rusher was Josh Jacobs with 52 yards and a touchdown, so a good game for him. But Kenyon Drake is going to be out for the season, so Drake and Josh is gone. So let's just focus on Josh, because he's clearly the superior running back at this point. The lead receiver, Hunter Renfrow, 9 receptions, 102 yards. He's been on a hot streak, and I love it, especially in fantasy, because I picked him up on waivers, and he's been doing good for me. Then Josh Jacobs, 9 receptions, 38 yards. Foster Moreau, 1 reception, 34 yards. That was pretty much it. The defense, they were able to hold the football team down for as long as possible, but your offense just couldn't get anything going, and that's what led to your loss. And then on to the Chiefs. You came off a 22-9 victory over the Denver Broncos. Wasn't really that great of a victory for you. Patrick Mahomes threw for 184 yards, no touchdowns and a pick. Lead rusher was Clyde Edwards-Helaire with 54 yards, but the only person to have a rushing touchdown was Mahomes. Lead receiver was Darrell Williams, 3 receptions, 60 yards, followed by Clyde Edwards-Helaire, 3 receptions, 28 yards, but it was really all in that defense. That defense, outside of what they did against Javonte Williams, just shut them down. So a lot of credit out to a strong defensive performance. Anyways, got to pick a winner for this one. Chiefs are 9.5-point favorites. I'm going to say that they win and cover the spread. Now you have our very next matchup between the Seattle Seahawks and the Houston Texans. Starting off with the Seahawks, a crucial 30-23 victory over the San Francisco 49ers. Russell Wilson still owns them. Still have a fighting shot for the playoffs, albeit not a great shot, but, a shot's a shot. Anyways, Russell Wilson threw for 231 yards, 2 touchdowns and a pick. Lead rusher was Travis Homer, 3 carries for 80 yards and a touchdown. Most of that came off a trick play, a fake punt. So that was pretty cool. Lead receiver was Tyler Lockett, 7 receptions, 68 yards and a touchdown, followed by DK Metcalf, 5 receptions, 60 yards, and then Eskridge, 3 receptions, 35 yards and a touchdown. That was pretty much it. The defense definitely had some trouble containing the 49ers, especially George Kittle and Elijah Mitchell, but just shut them down in the final drive and just shut them down in crucial moments. So good for you. And then the Texans, yikes. That was terrible. Tyrod Taylor, the starter, 45 yards and a pick, gets pulled for Davis Mills, only 49 yards. Y'all are screwed. Lead runner was Rex Burkhead with 30 yards. Lead receiver was Brandon Cooks, 3 receptions, 38 yards, followed by Brown, 4 receptions, 23 yards. I can't even say anything. Like, you guys are just absolutely terrible. The defense, just property owned by Jonathan Taylor. Like, literally, you got shut out. And I really can't say anything nice. Seahawks are 7.5-point favorites. I'm going to say that they win, but don't cover the spread. I feel like the Texans are going to keep this one close for some reason. And now you have our very next matchup between the Jacksonville Jaguars and the Tennessee Titans. Starting off with the Jaguars, you got your asses kicked by the LA Rams, 37-7. Trevor Lawrence threw for 145 yards, no touchdowns, no picks. So yeah, there was really nothing out of there. James Robinson ran for 24 yards, fumbles once, and Urban Meyer's like, yeah, no, forget you. We're going to Carlos Hyde. He had 24 yards on a touchdown. So really, it wasn't that great of a decision, especially in fantasy. You almost cost me, so screw you, Urban Meyer. Lead receiver was Laquan Treadwell, 4 receptions, 62 yards, followed by Laviska Shenault Jr., 3 receptions, 30 yards. That was pretty much it. The defense was just scored by Matt Stafford and Sony Michel and Cooper Kupp. So yeah, no real shame in that, but it was just still a dumpster fire. And then the Titans, you were on your bye last week, but got blasted by New England, 36-13. Ryan Tannehill threw for 93 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 pick, but I will give him a little bit of benefit of the doubt because he had no Derrick Henry and no A.J. Brown or Julio Jones. Lead rusher was Hilliard with 131 yards and a touchdown, and Dante Foreman with 109 yards and nothing. So honestly, the rush game was pretty strong. Yeah, you did get a 68 run out of Hilliard, but other than that, nothing much else. Lead receiver was Nate Westbrook, 2 receptions, 25 yards and a touchdown, followed by Hollister, 2 receptions, 22 yards, and then Fitzpatrick, 1 reception, 14 yards. That was it. The defense just struggled against New England. And that's pretty much it. But Titans are 8.5-point favorites to win this one. They're going up against Jacksonville. Give me the Titans that they win and cover the spread. And now you have our very next matchup between my boys in the New Orleans Saints and the New York Jets. Starting off with the Saints, damn, that was a tough match against the Cowboys. Lost 27-17. Honestly, had we been healthy, I think we could have won. I think we would have won that game. Even if we just had like Michael Thomas or Alvin Kamara, come on, I think we could have won that. They were trying to feed us this game on a silver platter, but we couldn't. Taysom Hill threw for 264 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 4 picks. Yeah, he was slightly injured in his finger and his foot, but still, that's not really that good of a stat line. But he did run for 101 yards with partial plantar fasciitis, so I'm going to give him some credit for that. Mark Ingram only ran for 28 yards. We should be getting Alvin Kamara back this week, but Ingram is going to be out due to COVID. Lead receiver was Deontay Harris, 4 receptions, 96 yards and a touchdown, but he did get suspended for 3 games for a DUI that he got back in the summer, so now he's serving that suspension. Follow that up with Lil Jordan Humphrey, 2 receptions, 49 yards and a touchdown, and then Nick Vannett, 3 receptions, 48 yards. That was pretty much it. The defense was able to hold down the Cowboys for as long as possible, but our offense just failed to capitalize. Then the Jets got beaten up by Gardner Minshew. Zach Wilson threw for 226 yards, 2 touchdowns and a pick. Lead rusher was Tevin Coleman with 58 yards. Lead receiver was Elijah Moore, 6 receptions, 77 yards and a touchdown, followed by Jamison Crowder, 4 receptions, 62 yards, and then Tevin Coleman, 3 receptions, 19 yards. That was pretty much it. The defense was just beaten up by Gardner Minshew and Dallas Goedert. The rush game was still pretty strong for Philly. Not as strong as it's been in the past couple of weeks, but still pretty lethal. Anyways, Saints are 5-point favorites. We better win this one. I might give up on this team if we lose to the Jets. No, I'm just kidding. I'll always stick by the Saints side. But Saints win and cover the spread. And now you have our very next matchup between the Atlanta Falcons and the Carolina Panthers, a classic NFC South rivalry. Starting off with the Falcons, a tough 30-17 loss to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I expect you guys to get your ass kicked. That's not new to me. Matt Ryan threw for 297 yards, no touchdowns, no picks. Not a bad game for him. Lead rusher was Cordarrelle Patterson with 78 yards, but the only one with a rushing touchdown was Mike Davis with 32 yards and a touchdown. Lead receiver was Russell Gage, broke out since Calvin Ridley's been out, had an excellent game, 11 receptions, 130 yards, followed by Kyle Pitts, 4 receptions, 48 yards, then Zacchaeus, 3 receptions, 44 yards. That was pretty much it. The defense just got scored by the Buccaneers, but they did get one nice pick six off Tom Brady that gave them a chance, but just wasn't enough. And then the Panthers, you were on your bye last week, but oh my God, that was a disaster that you guys had last time against the Miami Dolphins. Cam Newton, oh, I'm back. Oh yeah, you're back to being absolute shit like you were in 2020. As he threw for 92 yards, no touchdowns, 2 picks. P.J. Walker comes in, throws for 87 yards to the touchdown. Christian McCaffrey ran for 35 yards, but he did get injured, and he is out for the rest of the season. So that is a huge dagger to the Carolina Panthers. Lead receiver was DJ Moore, 4 receptions, 103 yards, followed by Zalestra, 1 reception, 24 yards, and then Amir Abdullah, 2 receptions, 20 yards. That was pretty much it. The defense just got destroyed by Myles Gaskin and Jalen Waddle. So, yeah, tough pill to swallow. Panthers are 2.5-point favorites to win this one, but you know what? I'm going to give the Falcons a chance here. I'm going to say that the Falcons pull off the upset. And now you have our very first 4 o'clock matchup between the Detroit Lions and the Denver Broncos. Start off with the Lions. Give me a second. You guys deserve this. You won a game. That was one of the most incredible endings I've ever seen, to see a team go from 0-10-1 to 1-10-1. That was just amazing. Jared Goff threw for 296 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 pick. Jamal Williams ran for 71 yards, but the big man was Amon-Ra St. Brown, 10 receptions, 86 yards, and the game-winning touchdown. I love just Jared Goff. Tries to go to hug Dan Campbell first, but gets kind of bumped off by Jamal Williams, but does get to Dan Campbell. So that was just awesome to see. Josh Reynolds, 4 receptions, 69 yards, nice. And then TJ Hawkinson, 4 receptions, 49 yards and a touchdown. That was pretty much it. The defense, you held the Vikings down for the first half, but then the second half, you let your foot off the gas, but it didn't matter. You pulled out the victory. Well done, boys. I had to give you a standing ovation for that. And then the Broncos, yeah, I still won't forget when you were 3-0 and everyone was saying that you're the real deal. You're not. Teddy Bridgewater threw for 257 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. Lead rusher was Javonte Williams with an excellent game with 102 yards, followed by Boone with 35 yards. Lead receiver was Jerry Jeudy, 4 receptions, 77 yards, followed by Javonte Williams, 6 receptions, 76 yards, and a touchdown. And then Noah Fant, 4 receptions, 33 yards. that was pretty much it. The defense just, did a good job at neutralizing the Kansas City Chiefs, but your offense was just significantly worse this game. So with a Lions win, do I see maybe a win streak, maybe something? No, I'm going to say Broncos are 8.5-point favorites. I'm going to say that they win, but don't cover the spread. Lions keep it close. And now you have our very next matchup between the New York Giants and the LA Chargers. Starting on the Giants, you didn't have Daniel Jones last week. He's going to be out for this game as well. So you had Mike Lennon. He was terrible, 187 yards, no touchdowns and a pick. Lead rusher was Saquon Barkley with 55 yards, followed up with Devontae Booker with 36 yards. That was pretty much it. Lead receiver was Evan Ingram, 4 receptions, 61 yards. Then Kenny Golladay, 3 receptions, 37 yards. Then Pharoah Cooper, 2 receptions, 21 yards. That was pretty much it. The defense definitely did struggle against the Dolphins. Like, Tua has been on a roll recently. Sure, he's played some relatively weak competition, but I'm not going to fault him for that. He's been doing well, so it's good to see him finally do well, even, despite all the hate towards him. And then the Chargers, you guys are one of the hardest teams to get a gauge on. Like, you and the Bengals are the two most inconsistent teams. I don't know what to get out of you each week, so that match was perfect. Starting off, you won 41-22. Justin Herbert threw for 317 yards, 3 touchdowns and a pick. Lead rusher was Austin Eckler with 59 yards and a touchdown, but he did have he lost 2 fumbles, so that's not too good. Mike Williams was lead receiver, 5 receptions, 110 yards, followed by Jalen Guyton, 4 receptions, 90 yards. Austin Eckler, 5 receptions, 44 yards, and then Keenan Allen, 5 receptions, 34 yards, and 2 touchdowns. So that was a good day for him. The defense did really well against the Bengals at the beginning, let their foot off the gas, but then put their foot back on the gas. So like I said, you two teams, like Chargers and Bengals, most inconsistent teams, just don't know what you're going to see out of them each week. So if we're going by schedule, this is the week that the Chargers are supposed to suck. They're 10-point favorites, but it's going to be Jake Fromm at quarterback. So give me the Chargers. They win and cover the spread. And now you have our very next matchup, a rematch of Super Bowl 16 between the San Francisco 49ers and the Cincinnati Bengals. Starting off with the 49ers, tough loss to the Seahawks, 30-23. You guys needed that win, but it didn't happen. Jimmy Garoppolo threw for 299 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 2 picks. Lead rusher was Elijah Mitchell with 66 yards and a touchdown. But lead receiver George Kittle just thrashed you guys, just thrashed for you. 9 receptions, 181 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Followed up with Brandon Ayuk, 3 receptions, 55 yards. You don't have Deebo Samuel, so you guys did a good job on offense without him. The defense definitely struggled against the Seattle Seahawks. Yeah, you did get a pick and did get a fumble, but that's all because Gerald Everett is a freaking idiot. Cost me a ton of fantasy points, even though, I did have Russell Wilson, but he made problems, so screw you, Gerald Everett. And then the Bengals, last week, once again, like I said about the Chargers, you guys are so inconsistent, and this was your bad game. Joe Burrow threw for 300 yards, 1 touchdown, and 2 picks. Joe Mixon ran for 54 yards and a touchdown, but he did lose a fumble, and so did Joe Burrow, so that was definitely a big factor into why you lost. Lead receiver, though, was T. Higgins, 9 receptions, 138 yards, and a touchdown. Followed up with Tyler Boyd, 5 receptions, 85 yards, then Jamar Chase, 5 receptions, 52 yards. That was pretty much it. The defense, yeah, you did get a pick and a couple of fumbles, but in the end, you just couldn't do it. You dug yourselves into a massive hole way too early. You did erase most of that deficit, but just blew it in the fourth quarter. Anyways, 49ers are 1.5 favorites to win this one, and just like the Super Bowl, 49ers will have a crucial game-winning drive at the end, so give me the Niners that they win and cover the spread. And now you have our very next matchup between the Buffalo Bills and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Start out with the Bills, a tough 14-10 loss to the New England Patriots on Monday Night Football, but the win conditions, that definitely played its own factor. Josh Allen threw for 145 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. He was also your lead rush with 39 yards. Devin Singletary also ran for 36 yards. In terms of defense, lead receiver was Stephon Diggs, 4 receptions, 51 yards, followed by Gabriel Davis with 2 receptions, 30 yards, and a touchdown. Then Emmanuel Sanders, 3 receptions, 22 yards. That was pretty much it. The defense, you shut down the pass game because the Patriots only threw it 3 times. But other than that, you guys just got completely destroyed by the running game. Now, yes, the Patriots did run it 46 times, and they did get 222 yards out of it. So I can't fully shame you for that, but in the end, that definitely is something that still hurts you. And then the Buccaneers, crucial 30-17 victory over the Atlanta Falcons. Tom Brady threw for 368 yards, 4 touchdowns, and a pick. The pick was just a bad read that got intercepted by a D lineman who returned it for a touchdown. Lead rusher was Leonard Fournette with 44 yards. But in terms of receiving, Chris Godwin just went sicko mode. 15 receptions, 143 yards. Mike Evans also had a pretty good day. 7 receptions, 99 yards. Followed up with Rob Gronkowski, 4 receptions, 58 yards, and 2 touchdowns. And then Leonard Fournette, 7 receptions, 48 yards, and a touchdown. The defense, yeah, they did definitely shut down the Falcons. But the Falcons are just not what they once were. Buccaneers are 3-point favorites to win this one. I'm going to say that they win and cover the spread. And now you have our Sunday Night Football matchup. The classic NFL rivalry, Chicago Bears, Green Bay Packers. Starting out with the Bears, last week, once it was found out that Kyler Murray and DeAndre Hopkins were back, we all knew it was over before it started. But even if Colt McCoy was playing and D-Hop was out, you still would have lost. Andy Dalton, the Red Rifle, he was firing all right. Firing to the Cardinals for 229 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 4 picks. Lead rusher was Dave Montgomery with 90 yards and a touchdown, doing what it does best. Kind of a decent pick in fantasy football. He's going to suck throughout most of the season, but then for the playoff push and the fantasy playoffs, he's just going to go sicko mode. And then lead receiver was Jakeem Grant, 5 receptions, 62 yards, and a touchdown, followed by Dave Montgomery, 8 receptions, 51 yards, and then Cole Kmet, 3 receptions, 41 yards. That was pretty much it. The defense was just picked apart by Kyler Murray. He ran all over you. So did James Conner, and DeAndre Hopkins also had a pretty nice day against you. So, yeah, like I said, it was over before it started. And then the Packers, you were on your bye last week, but you just completely exposed the LA Rams. Aaron Rodgers threw for 307 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks. Still one of the front runners for MVP, and he deserves it. He's done really well. He's been missing a ton of guys on defense this year, but he's done super well. He's going to be getting Jair Alexander back, so that's going to be a huge aid to the defense. Lead rusher was A.J. Dillon with 69 yards. Nice. And then Devontae Adams, lead receiver, 8 receptions, 104 yards. Followed by Randall Cobb, 4 receptions, 95 yards and a touchdown. Then Marquez Valdez-Scantling, 4 receptions, 50 yards. And that was pretty much it. The defense did a good job against the LA Rams. Yeah, they were, the Packers D was spotty at times. They had certain quarters where they would just completely shut down the Rams, and then other quarters where the Rams would just get the best of them. But in the end, good enough for a victory. Anyways, the Packers are 12.5-point favorites to win this one. I'm going to say that they win, but don't cover the spread. I say the Bears, for some reason, keep this close. And now you have our Monday Night Football matchup, an NFC West rivalry between the LA Rams and the Arizona Cardinals. Start off with the Rams, big victory, 37-7 over the Jacksonville Jaguars, but not that much of an accomplishment. They suck. But Matt Stafford definitely had a good rebound, threw for 295 yards, 3 touchdowns, no picks. Lead rusher was Sony Michel, no Darrell Henderson, no problem. 121 yards and a touchdown, so a good day for him. In terms of receiving, lead receiver was Cooper Kupp, just kicking ass like he's done all season. 8 receptions, 129 yards, and a touchdown, followed by Tyler Higbee, 5 receptions, 48 yards. And then Van Jefferson, 6 receptions, 41 yards and a touchdown. That was pretty much it. The defense just completely tore apart the Jacksonville Jaguars. So, good job, guys. And then the Arizona Cardinals. Last week, Kyler Murray made his return. Did he do well? Yes, he did. He did very well. Threw for 123 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks. He only threw the ball 15 times. So, they didn't need to do that much in terms of passing because he kicked ass on the ground with 59 yards and 2 touchdowns. James Conner, he had 75 yards on the ground as well. And he also had 2 receptions, 36 yards, and a touchdown. Followed up with DeAndre Hopkins, 2 receptions, 32 yards, and a nice touchdown that he had in the first quarter to show that he's back. And then A.J. Green, 1 reception, 14 yards. That was pretty much it. The defense, they just completely locked up the Bears. Yeah, they allowed 22 points, but in the end, it was just, over before it started. Like I said when I talked about the Bears, our Cardinals are 2.5-point favorites to win this one. But you know what? I'm going to say that the Rams come in here upset and show that they're still a legitimate threat. And that is going to wrap up my video for today. Thank you guys all so much for watching. If you want to see my last prediction video, click right over here. If you like this video, drop a like. Subscribe my channel by clicking over here or the subscribe button down below. It would mean a whole lot to me. Comment down below what you have for this week. Who is your upset of the week? Lock of the week? Is your favorite team going to win? Do you think the Saints are going to lose to the Jets somehow? Make sure you follow me on all my social medias, Instagram, Snapchat, and TikTok, @BrendanSuter. Thank you all for watching. Have a great day. Who Dat Nation, always in the J's here, is